It's America's longest war, longer even than Vietnam, but it could now be approaching an end. For Afghanistan, however, it could just be the beginning of even more uncertain times. The pullout of U.S. troops has raised fears that without a peace deal between the Taliban and the Afghan government in place, there'll be even more violence.
You already see the signs there, because as we speak, there's fighting going on inside Kandahar city in District 8 and 9. So Taliban are now moving from rural areas to urban warfare. And that means that the Afghan forces are now fighting the Taliban inside the cities now, or the city outskirts.
The American soldiers who remain in Afghanistan are part of a U.S.-led NATO mission. Foreign troops from dozens of other nations for the first time outnumber the Americans. NATO trains the Afghan security forces and relies heavily on the U.S. military for intelligence and logistics. NATO says it will decide on its future in Afghanistan in February. A former Afghan military chief warns of dire consequences, and not only for Afghanistan, if all countries decide to pull out.
In 5 years' time, if the democracy they already gained, newly gained, very weak, fragile democracy is not supported, then it will break. It will go into pieces. The country will be turned back into what we had in the 90s. Now, then what happens? You will have explosions every day in London and Frankfurt and Bonn and Washington and Rome or whatever state you think.
NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg says the alliance may pay a heavy price if there is a hasty and uncoordinated withdrawal. He fears Afghanistan could again become a place from where international armed groups could organize attacks on the United States and its allies.
The Taliban has welcomed this abrupt drawdown of American troops because it brings it closer to its main goal, a complete foreign troop withdrawal. Security has been rapidly deteriorating across the country, and even here in Kabul, explosions and targeted assassinations have become daily events.
Afghans see their country in a downward spiral, and some are more than happy to be rid of U.S. troops.
Americans must leave as their presence is meaningless. The reason is that Americans were not able to bring security in Afghanistan in 17 years and were not able to bring peace for the Afghan people.
But others see problems ahead.
We are going towards more difficulties and we're getting more concerned, and all the people, especially the young, are asking the U.S. to continue their support. They should keep their troops, at least some, to stay in Afghanistan.
Now all eyes are on the next U.S. President, Joe Biden, who has suggested he wants to keep a small military presence in Afghanistan, in which case America's longest war will become even longer. Filio, Kontrafouri, Al Jazeera, Kabul.